I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. Oh, 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 oh. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. Like a dog hanging out the car window. That's what dogs do. I love to see a dog hanging out the car window. They are enjoying life. Roger Miller said, every day is Saturday to a dog. You can see it on their little faces. I love dogs. And cats. I love cats, too. I love all of the creatures. Hey, I bought some new technology recently. I got a webcam. That's fun. And at some point, maybe I'll do a live stream, but not this time. This is going to be a standard video. I also, for some time, have had a WACOM tablet and a pressure-sensitive stylus, and I've never really taken the time to get comfortable using it because I've drawn traditionally for so long that, my go-to tools are pencil and paper, and that's how I start. However, I can see the value of doing something that's digital from the very beginning, and so learning to use the Wacom tablet, and so I thought this time we'd sit here and I'd draw maybe some little pictures for you and use the Wacom tablet, and that's what's going on right here. So, let's see. Turn this into the brush. Oh, hang on. Let's get back here into Photoshop. Now, what is this? I don't know. How's that? All right. Like this. Let's make some sort of an idea of a person. What is a cartoon? A visual shorthand of a guy, of a somebody. All right? And what makes stuff funny? These are all good questions to ask. It's not quite big enough for a pupil. Maybe a little more. I think small is often funny. Very rarely do you find large being funny. What do I mean by that? I mean, like that, what is that dude's name? Galactus. He's got that kind of this thing going on with his, I think he's got some kind of a nose thing that happens. And all kinds of extra baubles coming around here on his head doohinkies. And he's... I will eat your world. Because that's what Galactus says and does. And, he's got a bigger neck. He's like a giant neck. How often do you think Galactus is funny? You might be able to eat a world, but can you tell a joke that can make that world laugh so hard that it doesn't mind being eaten by you? Are you that funny? He's not that funny. Galactus, he's not funny. So, what's funny? Small is oftentimes very funny. And, here's an idea that I heard somebody say about if you have been trained to do improvisational comedy on stage. If you've been trained to do improv, like there's an exercise called park benches where two actors who are doing improv will sit one on the, draw a picture, draw everybody a picture. That's the eraser tool. One actor will come up and sit on this side. Hello, how are you? Hey, I must have hit the erase button. See, I'm learning how to use this. Here, one actor will sit on one side like this. And the other and here's a park bench. And the other actor will come up and sit on this side like this. And they don't have anything necessarily that they're supposed to talk about. They can talk about anything. Now, if they're on a blank stage and there's nothing else there, what are they going to talk about? Well, if they have been trained well, and they'll gain this as they go, making something that doesn't really exist, or making a small thing like, a physical defect of the other person, or a small idea being out of something, making a mountain out of a molehill, making a big deal out of something that's not really a big deal, is where most comedians who have been trained in improv, what would be a big deal to this guy? I just saved money on my car insurance by shopping at Geico. That's called a reference humor. That's not really funny, because 50 years from now when Geico disappears, that's not going to have been a funny thing. You find the psychology of the human being is where I'm going to go for humor typically. What's going on inside of this guy? This guy might say, "How are you?" How are you? Question mark. This guy says, I was just diagnosed with cancer. Now that's awful. That's horrible. But instantly we're into something, because the standard answer is I'm fine. But that's no good. We don't want the standard answer. We don't want I'm fine. You want something different, something. Let's get rid. Probably I should just edit that right out of here. Something that's no good. What are we talking about? Small equaling funny. Here's a guy. He's small, and I need this to be. Yeah, okay. Let's give him like some tiny flipperish. Yeah. All right. There he is. What's this guy? Maybe I should start this whole video over. Nah. Keep going. Don't start anything over. Maybe he's worried. He's not getting enough sleep. Why'd you make him blue? So I can outline him in black later on. Let's do this. Here, let's come. We can redo everything. Yeah, okay. That's good. How are you this morning? I've just been diagnosed with cancer. See, the joke could turn like this. The other guy could say, he could be looking the other way, not really paying attention. Two guys on a park bench. Here they are. By the way, cancer is an easy place to go for a joke. It's not really thoughtful place to go for a joke. So this guy says, how are you this morning? This guy says, I've just been diagnosed with cancer. This guy whips out his phone. I said, cancer. Yeah, I'm getting a text. Hang on. Life and death. You know what? It's because it ain't hard to get along with somebody else's trouble. There's a whole song that it ain't hard to get along with somebody else's trouble. Anyway, let's go back to this guy over here. Funny. Funny from small. What might be funny about this inside of a person? What's funny on the inside? First of all, you have to figure out who your protagonist is psychologically. What is this person? Where does he live? What's going on with him? He has a hard time washing himself everywhere because of his tiny arms, so perhaps he has some issues with hygiene. That could be his problem. And I don't believe in names. But if his name is Gene, then all of it, if his problem is hygiene and his name is Gene, and all of his friends, when they walk up to him, they say, hi, Gene, as a constant reminder that he's not getting himself clean in all of his areas. You know, it's a little on the nose, but but it's kind of funny. Hi, Gene. Why do you always have to rub it in? He would say. So, when he wakes up in the morning, what's the first thing he wants to do? That's the question you always have to ask about your protagonist. That's a big, long word. Let's just write that on the screen. I like this thing. Protagonist. That just means the hero of your story. The person who's going to, or the creature, the person. Yeah, sorry. The person who's going to be on screen the most. Hero of our story. Who's your hero on the inside? That's what you got to figure out when you're making up something funny. When you're writing a story, when you're telling a joke, the comedians who have not been trained in improvisational comedy will tend to write something funny from the setup. Okay? They'll try to come up with a funny situation rather than look for what's funny in the environment that they can use. Okay? They come up with funny from the beginning. That's not a wrong approach. I'm not saying that there's a good way and a bad way of coming up with something. I'm just saying, you want if you're trying to make up funny stuff and funny drawings in particular, you want as many tools in your toolbox as you can get. So, worried people are funny. Flaws, like bad hygiene. That's a flaw. Look, flaws in your character. Where do they live? What is wrong with him? Hygiene is an obvious, easy one. It's also a nice one to go to for, in the moment, we'll just talk about this. One of the nice things about hygiene being a flaw is that the audience never has to suffer through the flaw. They can hear about the flaw. They can see the reaction of other people around this guy, like, all of his friends keeping their distance. Hi, Gene, from the other side of the street. Hi, how you doing? Don't come over here because you really, really smell badly. You eat food that makes you stink. I don't want to be near you. Plus, your arms are too short to do a really good job on some of your bits that develop a funk over time. So, Gene. Hi, Gene. Stay over there. Funny. Is it funny? I don't know. You have to tell a story with him. Well, let's see. Gene on a job interview. What would that be like? Let's get rid of all this. Pow. All right. So, here. How else can he? Here, Gene dancing. Trying to reach himself. Trying to get his hand around him. See that? He'd be trying maybe some struggle lines. Marks. And here words could come in and help. If I could just wash my backside. Sheila would go out with me. Now here we've set up something kind of funny, but my arms are too short. But My arms are too short. My arms are. But if I could just wash my butt, Sheila would go out with me, but my arms are too short. Is that funny? I don't. It has something going for it. What I like about this is he wants to date. He wants to go out with someone. So, he aspires to something. This is important. You have to understand, what does he want? What does Gene want? What does Gene want? He wants to date Sheila. He wants Sheila to notice him, to go out with him. And he thinks the problem is that he's not clean enough and that he smells bad. He does smell bad, but, we're setting something up here. What would be funny is if that's not Sheila's problem. Sheila doesn't think he stinks. Sheila finds him unattractive. So Gene could stuff himself through the car wash and have all those brushes and things address his bodily hygiene, and he could be the cleanest he's been in 5 years, and it wouldn't make any difference to Sheila because Sheila doesn't find him attractive, so Sheila is not going to have her head turned by Gene. She's nice to Gene, and that's the problem. She's nice. I'm just making this stuff up, Here, let's give him a little shadow underneath there, because the sun's beating down on him. I don't know. I like putting shadows underneath stuff. What does Gene want? Drawing funny. Charles Schulz was the one who said, remember, we are here to draw funny pictures. But funny pictures is, yes, it's about how funny things look, but it's also about what's funny that's going on the inside of your character. What do they want? Who are they? And how can you keep your hero from getting what he wants? Keep the goal away from your hero. How can you keep it away from him? And 2, what happens when you give it to him? What happens? Why are you being so literal? What happens if he gets it? These are all really good questions. I don't know the answer, but if you're making up characters, this is the kind of stuff that you explore. And this is why you work in a sketchbook, I think, so that you can come back and take a look at these things, look at your notes, solve what's going on inside of your person. So anyway, this has been a really fast way to make a video, so I'll try to make some more of this really quickly, and maybe I'll even chunk this one. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to solve these very kinds of issues for Paint by Monster as a show. So, I will see you next time. Go make some art. That's what to go do. By the way, here's the closing song to remind you to go do just that. All right? See you later. Go make some art. Make a drawing or a painting. Go make something entertaining. Make some art. Go make some art. Go get your pencils, paints, and papers, blaster, chisels, markers, scrapers, rulers, canvas, brushes, hammers, nails, and tape, guitars and super glue. Get glue and macaroni, cameras, frames, and fried bologna. Go get anything you need for making art. That gnawing feeling deep inside that you can do it isn't lying to you. Get up off your butt and make some art. Paint by Monster is made by one monster sitting in a tiny upstairs bedroom studio smack downtown in Muncie, Indiana. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, go make some art, and see you next time.